Hi, at one point you might have interacted with a Google form. Did you become curious as to how the form is created? Well, today I'm going to teach you how to create a Google form from scratch and explore all the features it offers, such as exporting responses into a Google Sheet or a CSV file. Let's dive in. First, you have to log into your Google account. If you don't have one, you have to sign up. It's actually free, so you don't need to hassle much. So once you log in, you click on these dots. I don't know how they are called. Maybe you can tell us in the comment region. You click on those three dots, then you scroll all the way until you see the forms. You click on the forms, and you'll get this interface. It will open a home page. You can start a new form from scratch like we are going to do today, or you can use one of these templates, which will make your work even easier if at all you find a matching template. But today we are going to create one from scratch. So we click on the blank, and this is the interface we are going to work with. On this corner, this is the home page. If you click on this, it will take you directly to home. On this interface, we have questions. This is where we are going to create the form itself. We have responses. This is after someone fills the form and they send back to us. This is where we're going to get their feedback. And we have the settings. This is how you would like your form to behave. On this other end, we have several other options. So this is customize the theme. If you click on theme, this is where you can choose the header of your form. We might decide to pick an image from here or upload from our file explorer. We'll pick from photos. So we'll click one of these photos, click insert. So automatically we'll have this photo appearing as our header, and we can change the theme color. We can change to any we want, and also the background color. We can decide to put any color that we want. On the fonts, you can change the style. We have this, I think we have 4 options here. After themes, we have this other button. It's preview button. If you click on it, it will open a preview window. You'll have the chance to see your form and preview it before you send it out to your respondents. We have the undo button in case maybe you want to undo something, or if you want to redo, you can click this button here. And then once you're done with the form, you can click send, and it will give you several options. You can send via email, so you just put your email there, then the subject, and then the message body. You can also generate a link, and we have an option to shorten the URL. And you can also copy this if you want to embed the form into your website. You can also send it to Facebook or Twitter. So if we click on these 3 dots, we have some more options. We can make a copy of the form. We can delete and move it to trash. You can even actually print it. You can add collaborators in case maybe you're working as a group to develop a form. On the form itself, this is where you type your question. We have this floating button around here. The first option here is to add a question. If you're done maybe editing your first question, you can click this one to add another question. We have an option to import a question from another form. Then we can add a title and description. You can add an image to a question. You can add a video or add a section. Maybe you want maybe personal data and maybe some other questions separated, so you can add them in different sections. When you come to the question itself, you have this image icon, which if you click on it, you will have an option to add an image to the question. Down here, you have an option to duplicate the question, or delete the question, or make the question mandatory. And when you click on these 3 ellipses, you can add a description to the question, or you can shuffle the order such that if I reload the page with the form, the questions will rearrange themselves. Let's start with the first question. For example, I'm very terrible at typing, so you'll have to bear with me. Let's have a short answer to this, because I don't think maybe you need a paragraph to answer that question, and we make it required. We add another question. Are you subscribed to the channel? Say yes or no. So I think this is we can just use a multiple choice, and option 1 can be yes. Let's say no. Option B maybe all I don't know. Just for the sake of the form, just let's make it mandatory. Let's add another one. This I want to make now a paragraph question. In this one, you will need a paragraph, so we want a longer text in that, and we don't want to make this one mandatory. Then we can add another question here, and in this case, now we are done with all those. We want check boxes. We can say check all that applies to you. Option 1, patient. Option 2, loving. 3, always sad. Okay, we can decide to make a validation for the question. For example, we can decide to make the respondent select at least maybe a certain number, maybe at least 2, at most maybe 2 or 3, or select exactly the number that you would want. Let's just leave it open. And also you can add a description. That's it. So that's a description. And if we go to preview our form, let's reload. You can see the progress we've made so far. Let's say so this you'll have to tick only one. Subject ready, look at stories. Then you can just, so we can check all that we want. Okay, let's add another question. This time we want a drop down menu. Select your gender. So if we proceed to our form, we reload, you can see this a drop down menu. We can click on female, maybe I'm a male, or I don't want to answer that question. Let's just click I'm a male. I think I'm one. So I click on we want to go to the other question. So we are done with the drop down menu. File upload. Let's upload a file. For this to work, your Google Drive will be your space where all the files which will be uploaded will be stored to. So if I click on continue, it will allow you to make several changes. For example, I can decide to choose specific files. For example, I want an image or a PDF, and I can change the size. Let's put that 100 MB. And maybe limit the file numbers to 5. So if we go to the form, you see the question will be add a file. If I click on it, it will give me an option to either go to my drive and upload and bring the file directly here, or go to my computer and pick a file from there and then upload here. So let's go to another question. Let's put a linear question. So I can decide to put this up to 10. And I can decide to label number 1 as and again, if we reload, this is what you're going to get. Yeah, this is the tag, and I can decide to maybe rate my channel, and it's 10 over 10. Multiple choices, multiple grade. We might decide to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a column 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to think about this one. Let's add another one. Checkbox grid. I decide to do that one. Then exactly like that one. Then we might add another question here. That was now the date. And you'll come here and type everything. We'll see this from the other side. Let's add another question, the final one. And this one, we want to put specific time. Let's add the final one. Time. This time, let's put a duration. Videos. I don't know whether that question is correct. It is what it is. Reload the form. And this is it. I can be able to tick, but at least I know you have an idea of how you can arrange your questions to match. So for the check boxes, you can check more than one box, but for this other one, you can only check one per row. so you can't check more than one. You only have to pick one. When it comes to dates, it will give you, let's say I was born in 1890, that day and 13th. So what time do I watch? I usually watch maybe once I wake up. Yeah, so the duration, we can have 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes and 2 seconds. For this section, I'll show you where we can get the settings which will be grabbing emails from the respondents, and you'll be able to have all of them. Now let's go to settings, which I think is something interesting. Now you can make the whole of the form to be a quiz. If I slide this on, it will convert the whole thing into a quiz. And on the responses, we have several options. We can collect the email addresses from those who are responding. That is when we check on always. Or when we request them, we can request them to send us their email. We can also allow editing. Once they submit the form, they can go back to the form and edit their response. We can limit responses to either one, or we can just let it be such that one person can send several responses. We can limit the size of the uploads to either 1 GB, 10 GB, 100 GB, or 1 TB. When it comes to presentation, we can decide to show a progress bar in case maybe the questions are more, or we have several sections and we want those who are responding to track their progress. So we can shuffle the questions order such that when someone reload their form, the questions will rearrange themselves. We can decide to put a confirmation message. Once they submit the form to us, a certain response will be sent to them. We can edit and say, let's say for example, thank you for your response, and we save. We can show the link to submit another response if we did not limit the response to one. We can decide to share the summary with the respondents if they want to see a summary of what maybe they've submitted. When it comes to autosave, someone might decide to reload their form, and if they have maybe filled their form halfway, they will still have the details. But if we disable that option, all the progress will be lost. And now we can go back to our form and fill everything. Let's reload so that it comes with all the updates we've made. So it has everything that we wanted to see, and let's submit and see what will happen. So thank you for your response. So once we submit the form, you see the responses. We'll have a number of the responses we have received so far. So I click on the response, and this is what we get according to the questions. So I can filter and narrow down to specific questions. So I can just click on the question and then analyze or go through the response, or I can go to an individual form and see every detail. The summary form is usually a good way of checking all the responses together. So if I have more data, then you can see exactly what I mean. Now when it comes to exporting, you have several options. One, we can decide to send this to a Google Sheet. So we can just create one. You click on that icon there, and then we click on create, and directly we'll go to a Google Sheet, and we have one here. So this is the question and all the answers. We have other options here, like I can decide to get an email notification for every response I get. I can decide to select the destination of the response. So once you unlink the form, the link will be broken. We might decide to download all the responses to a CSV file. Let's see how it works. We can say it to open. Yeah, and we have our form here. We can extract it and see everything that we want to see from it. Also, we can decide to print out the responses, or delete all the responses, which I'm going to do right now because now we are done. that was a lengthy one. I hope it was educational enough to a point where you can now be able to create your own form. In case you have a question, a concern, or something to add, you can go down there in the comment region and put that there. I usually read my comments. If you have come this far, it means that you like this content, and I would like you to subscribe kindly. Go there, click on subscribe, click that bell, and see you in the next one. Thank you.